Washington is erecting a fence around the Capitol in anticipation of Biden's State of the Union tomorrow. Not a fence around the border, a fence around Biden, who thinks he needs protection from you while he doesn't provide protection from them.
The message, whether it's spoken or not, is very clear. The president's life is in danger because of Trump voters. You are the enemy. In preparation for Joe Biden's State of the Union, the Democrats, they decided that it was time to put the Capitol under siege. Watch how Jesse Waters reported it.
Right now, as we speak, Washington is erecting a fence around the Capitol in anticipation of Biden's State of the Union tomorrow. Not a fence around the border, a fence around Biden, who thinks he needs protection from you while he doesn't provide protection from them. Now, this fence is a sinister symbol to stigmatize half the country's dangerous, to justify his crackdown. Even though we outnumber them, they're powerful and will overwhelm you with shame from now until November. They'll call you names, treat you like ogres, threaten you, threaten your job, your family, your status. This will be an all-out war by Biden's alliance against the American people in the name of saving democracy, which is the most cynical part of this. They'll try to separate you from your senses, your instincts, from your conscience. You know what's right and wrong, that they'll get in between you and your heart, and they'll make you doubt it. This election will not be about policy. That's the last thing they want it to be. It'll be a blood sport, the ugliest campaign in American history. Now, usually it's the politician who gets destroyed, but now they're targeting you. So prepare yourself and stay strong.
Here's a look at the wall that was being put, or the fence, I should say, being put up late afternoon and continued through the night. Listen, the Biden people and Democrats in general, they know how powerful images are. And I assure you that the reason they're doing this, do you remember them doing this last year? I don't. I know they kept up a fence there for Biden's first State of the Union address 1 year after January 6th, but I don't remember the reason they're doing this. It's not because there's actually any intelligence or data that shows that there's a legitimate threat of anything happening. There's no protests planned that I'm aware of, and I live in Washington. I do news and morning radio in Washington. There's nothing planned on the mall tonight, and they don't have any active intelligence that there's going to be a problem. They're doing this because the news reports on the networks and on cable news, as they're doing the pregame, they do like 6 hours, like it's the Super Bowl of tailgating and pre-show for the State of the Union. And they're giving them an image to work with. You see, they're not dumb. They know that image is everything. You give people a picture, and it says more than anything that Biden's going to mumble tonight at the State of the Union. So at various times, there will be an exterior shot of the Capitol, either just on its own for ambiance, or they'll have a reporter standing out there in front of the Capitol, and they will feature this fence. They will feature this barricade. And the message, whether it's spoken or not, is very clear. The president's life is in danger because of Trump voters. You are the enemy. You are a murderer. You are a rioter. You are an insurrectionist. You are looking to destroy the country. That's their political message right now. As he stands inside that building and tries to pretend that he's a great unifier and that he's standing for America and democracy and all those wonderful things in the Constitution, what he's really doing is sending a very clear message. You can't be trusted. It's kind of gross and enraging. And Jesse's right to point out a very important aspect of this. He's protecting himself, but he will not protect you. He will not protect our border. He will not protect neighborhoods around Washington or in Georgia or wherever you live from unvetted violent criminals pouring across our border. Here's the proclamation, January 20th, 2021. This was the day he was inaugurated. Within minutes of Joe Biden becoming president of the United States, when he was sworn into office, he put out a proclamation on the termination of emergency with respect to the southern border. There's no emergency down here. By the way, there probably wasn't, because Donald Trump had brought everything in hand. But he was able to get everything under control at the border by declaring an emergency situation and taking executive actions. Well, Joe Biden terminated those, and specifically, as you can see here, the redirection of funds diverted to border wall construction. In that proclamation, the president said it is a waste of money that diverts attention from genuine threats to our homeland security. So we couldn't have a border wall. We couldn't protect our nation's border because it was a waste of money. How much do you think this costs? It's not a waste of money to protect him when he's at the Capitol, apparently. And who does he have to be protected from? From you. Congressman Tom Tiffany of Wisconsin. By the way, last I checked, Wisconsin, a pretty important state in the upcoming presidential election. Wisconsin, just like Virginia, who, according to MSNBC, should have no fears about border security. Wisconsin, they got to be worried about Minnesota, maybe, but not the southern border, right? That's the MSNBC mocking elitist, snobbing message to voters in those states. Well, here's Congressman Tom Tiffany of Wisconsin sending a message back to his voters. Apparently, he thinks that this fence around the Capitol is symbolic of something very important that his voters need to know.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, the State of the Union is here tonight. President Biden will be giving his presentation at the United States Capitol, and he'll be protected by this fence just put in today for him. But yet he will not put up a wall on the southern border to protect Americans.
I mean, that's it. That's 100% true. And there's no denying it, and there's no spinning it. And there's the only possible response that Biden or Democrats or Jen Psaki or Jake Tapper will have on this blatant hypocrisy is, well, yeah, you know, the real threat in this country is MAGA Republican insurrectionists from January 6th. Just look what they did.